Today I'm making brunch. The centerpiece will be homemade Bloody Marys with fresh horseradish. Now, if you've never bought fresh horseradish, you've probably been reaching over it for years at the supermarket, usually next to the ginger. It looks like this, a nice big root, lasts for a while. And to make fresh horseradish, all you gotta do is trim it off. You wanna peel off that outer skin. And then just like ginger, you grate that inside. So you just wanna peel off that thick outer skin. Oh, those peels are going everywhere. I'm aiming for the bowl. I say I'm about 50% making it in the bowl. All right. Come on. Ooh, you can smell it already. This stuff is potent and it makes a really spicy Bloody Mary. Now I'm just gonna use a box grater to grate it finely. You want about a quarter cup all day. And this box grater actually is a rasp style grater, which you could also use. And again, you want a quarter of a cup. It's nice and fluffy. I like using the rasp style grater for that because it makes very fine horseradish that melds nicely into the Bloody Mary mix. Now I'm gonna build it in a nice big liquid measuring cup and then put it into a pitcher. Now I'm gonna add the tomato juice. This is 3 3/4 cups tomato juice, some Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, hardest ingredient to pronounce, but so crucial for Bloody Marys. You want 2 tablespoons of that. Now this next ingredient, kind of an oddball, fish sauce. No, it's not gonna taste fishy, but the fish sauce adds that really hearty, beefy, umami flavor that makes a good Bloody Mary, and it stands up to that horseradish. So you want a tablespoon of fish sauce. Next up, some fresh lemon juice. That's 1/4 of a cup fresh squeezed lemon juice. And now some hot mustard powder. Now this is Chinese hot mustard powder. Again, good and spicy, pairs well with that horseradish. A tablespoon of that. Last but not least, some Old Bay. Tablespoon of Old Bay. Just gonna whisk this all together. Make sure it's nice and combined. Now you can use this mix right away, add some vodka and ice, or you can let it sit for up to 24 hours. And I like it when it sits a bit. I feel like those flavors really melt. All right, into a serving bottle it goes. There we go, nice pretty bottle. Into the fridge it goes until serving time. If you've never made your own cocktail onions, you are missing out. It's easy to do and they last for a good while in the refrigerator. Now, the hardest part is peeling the onions because you gotta start with fresh onions, don't use frozen. So this is 12 ounces of pearl onions. And the easiest way to peel them is to dunk them in boiling water for about a minute. So I'm just gonna add them to this pot of boiling water and you're just gonna cook them for a minute. That just helps loosen up those skins. So after you remove them from the boiling water, you just want to dunk them into ice water just for another minute. Just loosens up those skins and stops the cooking. All right, so just leave the onions in that ice water for a minute and then remove them from the ice water. Kind of got to work around those ice cubes. Like I said, this is the hardest part of making these onions. All right, so now to peel the onions, you want to use a small, sharp paring knife. What we're going to do is we're going to trim off the root end. You want to leave the root mostly intact. That'll help the onion stay together. But you want to trim off sort of the dirty bits. Trim off the tip end, and then you just slide that first outer skin off. And there you have it, peeled onion. It's not hard to do this, just a little time consuming, but man, is it worth it. All right, so back into this bowl the onions go. Now it's time to make the brine that the onions will sit in. We're going to use the same pot. I just drained the water out of it. Here we go. To build the brine, very simple. You add 4 ounces of water, 4 ounces of distilled white vinegar, a little bit of dry vermouth, just 2 ounces of that, some sugar, it's a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of crushed juniper berries, a teaspoon of coriander seeds, half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. Now it's time to add the salt, and the type of salt you use makes a difference here. You want to use canning or pickling salt or kosher salt because they will prevent that brine from getting cloudy. Now the benefit to canning and pickling salt is it measures evenly from brand to brand, and you can find it anywhere. Kosher salt also works, but the crystal sizes on kosher salt vary from brand to brand, so the amounts are different. So for pickling salt, you want to use 1.5 teaspoons. A teaspoon and a half. All right, and that's it. Now we're just gonna put this on the stove, bring it to a boil, constantly stirring to make sure that sugar and salt gets dissolved. All right, that's come to a boil now. Time to add the onions, and we're gonna cook these onions for 2 minutes. And while they cook, I'm gonna run hot water out of the tap into the canning jar. That will just prevent thermal shock when we add the hot canning liquid and prevent the glass from shattering. All right, the onions are cooked, the glass jar is warm. Time to put it all together. Now, in the bottom of the jar, I'm gonna put 2 strips of fresh lemon zest. You just wanna use a peeler, get a nice long strip of zest. Try to get just the zest, the yellow part, not any of the pith underneath. All right, nicely done in the bottom of the jar. Now, using a slotted spoon, I'm gonna take the onions, put them right in the jar. Oh, these onions taste so good. You get the lemon and that little bit of juniper berry. It is like no cocktail onion you've ever had. Actually, I put these on cheese boards too because they're that good. Now you can use a funnel to put the liquid into the jar. I've given up on funnels. I just go right into the jar from the saucepan. Oh yeah. And that's it. We're gonna let these onions stand at room temperature for about 30 minutes to cool off. Then they need to go in the fridge for at least 12 hours so they really absorb those flavors, and then they're good for 2 months. Want more stories and recipes from Cook's Country for free? Then sign up for the Cook's Country email newsletter. Our free newsletter takes you behind the scenes with the people and the recipes changing the way America cooks. Get exclusive tips, seasonal recipes, product reviews, and more delivered straight to your inbox. Visit cookscountry.com and sign up for free. It is time to make a Bloody Mary. Now, here's the whole Bloody Mary setup because it's brunch. You know, you got to make it look kind of nice. You want people to come and make their own so they're fresh. So here we have a bunch of ice, a cocktail shaker. I do like my Bloody Mary shaken. So into the shaker, we're going to put about a 1/4 cup of ice. That's about 6 of my cubes. All right, now for the vodka. You want about 1.5 ounces per glass. 1.5 ounces into the shaker on top of the ice. The ice chills it, but it also dilutes it a bit, which is nice. And now we want about 6 ounces of this very potent mixture I made with the fresh horseradish and that hot mustard. Ounce 2, 4, 6. I know, the first one of the day, I measure very carefully. By the end, I'm kind of just throwing them in the shaker willy-nilly. All right, into the shaker this goes. Now, this is a foolproof shaker. It's not a Boston shaker. It is a cobbler-style shaker, and it's meant for people like me who tend to make a mess. Has a nice tight lid, almost looks like a travel mug. All right. Out it goes. Ho, ho, ho. Gonna taste good through this hawthorn strainer. The smell is something. You definitely smell that horseradish. And what's a Bloody Mary without a little garnish? Now, I've seen Bloody Marys with like pieces of pizza and burgers hanging out the top, which I think are fun, but I'm gonna be a little more traditional. A little celery and a little skewer with those homemade cocktail onions, some olives, a cornichon, a little lemon. Oh, with that spicy Bloody Mary with that fresh horseradish and these cocktail onions. Onion, the juniper berry, the lemon. This is the Brunch Champions. See you next time. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? Leave a comment below and let me know what you're excited to cook this week. You can get today's recipes and more for free at our website.